just depends what you're at. You get rejected, you work instead of having cocktail.
Lavish ones. You know, some of the solutions.
Considered to be the or even though, you know, you set up a neighborhood killed so easily. That's very important.
Coming to America comes with an intricate set of requirements for anyone planning to stay and work. And here to share some insight on that intricate process is immigration attorney Remzi Guvenc Kulen. Thanks for joining us today, Remzi. We've talked about this before, but there are a lot of very interesting elements to getting what they call an H-1B visa.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
H-1B visa is offered for professional workers in the United States. It's the most commonly sought after visa for professional workers. Computer programmers, software programmers, business analysts, financial analysts, doctors, attorneys, all the foreign workers in the U.S. who are professionals who have at least a bachelor degree come to the U.S. with this type of visa.
So these are people that the federal government might be seeking out, that industry is seeking out, that want to come here and stay and work.
Exactly, yes. There is a very interesting application process. The visa can be issued for up to 3 years, and 3 and 3, it's up to 6 years altogether. And it is really an interesting and complicated process to get the visa. But once you know it, it's easy.
Is there an advantage to having this type of visa for people coming here?
Absolutely, yes. This visa allows the employee to work for that specific employer who petitioned for the H-1B visa. And you can live here and you can work here under the terms and conditions of the H-1B visa, which is filed to U.S. citizenship with Immigration Services.
Now, is this something people can do themselves, or do they need a lawyer?
That's a very good question. Well, actually, you cannot petition for yourself. You have to find a U.S. employer, and a U.S. employer must petition for the foreign worker. It's not something you can do. It's a very complicated process, and it takes about at least 2 to 3 weeks to prepare this kind of visa application. And on top of that, you have the quota numbers which you have to watch out. You cannot, you cannot apply all the time in a given year, because there's a certain number of applications that are permitted by the government for each fiscal year.
Interesting. Is there a big demand for these kinds of visas?
In the past, we've seen this visa expire within a day, within a week. There's 65,000 quota numbers available for foreign workers, and another 20,000 for foreign workers who obtained their master's degree in the United States. We've seen this visa, just exhausted. The quota has been exhausted within a day, within a week.
Wow, so
we've seen it in 7 months. Last year it was 2 months. April 1st is the first day you can file these applications. So we're getting pretty close, and we suspect that this year, because there's going to be a higher demand than the last year, we think it's going to be exhausted within a week or maybe within 2 weeks.
Wow. So the key is being ready to go and file on April 1st.
Exactly. And to do that, you have to get yourself prepared within 2 to 3 weeks in advance.
And when you say get prepared, what does that involve?
That involves preparing certain kinds of documents, your diplomas, transcripts, copies of passports. The passport must be valid. You have to have at least a bachelor degree or a master's degree, and you have to get the transcripts, most of the copies. So getting the documents prepared is not a very complicated process, but getting the case started and going takes about 2 to 3 weeks because of the procedures involved.
Do you also have to get your prospective employer involved, or is this
Absolutely, yes. The employer has to petition for yourself, so that means you have to get the employer in line, you have to get yourself in line, you have to get your documents prepared and be ready to file by April 1st.
Wow, sounds like a lot. Is there a cost associated with this?
Absolutely, yes. The government charges about $1,500 for employees employing less than 25 employees. For more than 25, there's an additional $750. These are just the government filing fees. Then there is, of course, some optional fees and the attorney fees involved.
Now, are these fees that the employer pays, or does the employee have to pay these?
Mostly, the filing fees have to be borne by the employer.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a pretty big cost, but I would presume it's worth it for the people who get those visas.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, there's a high shortage of, there's a big demand, especially for professional positions. Most of our computer application positions, but IT positions, but also for other professional positions as well. And these visas serve a great deal. And in the past, we've seen the quota has been raised to 125,000 visas, for example, in the past. But we've not seen it especially after the 2008 financial crisis.
All right, the H-1B, get ready, file for it on April 1st.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Remzi Kulen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
having me. Okay.